And I want to read some comments here that were written by Andrew Feinstein. And he has been a very outspoken advocate for Palestinian human rights. And he wrote, quote, "It pains me to say this, and I don't do so lightly, as the son of a Holocaust survivor, as someone who has lectured on genocide prevention at Auschwitz, where my mom lost dozens of her family. But Israel is behaving like Nazis. This is not self-defense. This is not to protect Jews. This is Nazism. This is a Holocaust driven by racist white supremacy."
So for me, whether it's Hamas, whether it's Israel, for me, the most important thing is to stop the killing. I mean, why don't we agree and disagree while no more families in Gaza are being erased by Israel? Right? Okay, you can agree, you can disagree, you can say they are selfish, they are selfless, they are good, I don't care what you think about them, but just stop the killing.
Israel's restrictions on the entry and the movement of food and other essential items in Gaza has created a humanitarian catastrophe that means that now people aren't just going hungry. The vulnerable, children, are starving to death.
This is not a battlefield, though it might look like one. It's a food distribution point in Gaza. Bullets are kicking up the sand as men wait to get food. It's one of 4 sites run by the so-called Gaza Humanitarian Foundation.
We have seen the videos, we have heard the stories and the accounts, and you'll hear another one from a Green Beret in just a second, of people telling you as they go to get the aid, the IDF is shooting them. The IDF soldiers have come forward and said they were ordered to kill anybody coming to get the aid.
Of course, all sorts of individuals and organizations with real standing, like Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, various people in the United Nations have said that this is a Holocaust or a genocide. And so I think that label is now beginning to stick in ways that leaves many Israelis, and certainly the Israeli government, very uncomfortable. And they'll go to great lengths to cut against that.
What you're looking at here, this is supposed to be an aid site. Hey, come get some food so you don't die. That's what this is. Oh, sorry, there's massive crowds of you and people are getting trampled to death, and the security people are shooting bullets at you and killing you. The whole point of the GHF, it's a Mossad CIA op that's trying to aid and abet the final solution of the Palestinians. Because remember, it's not like we had international aid organizations in there doing their job, giving out the food, giving out the water, giving out the medicine. And it was Israel and the US that said, now you're banned from doing that and we're going to take it over. And this group that they used to take it over is a fucking front for CIA and Mossad, and they're trying to finish the ethnic cleansing.
This video is of the Foundation's armed American security guards opening fire.
I think you hit one.
It was filmed by a US soldier who signed up for the operation in Gaza after he retired and left, he says, when he saw American colleagues and the IDF killing civilians. The soldier is Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Aguilar, a Special Forces veteran of the US Army's Green Berets. He's in Washington. I spoke to him from a spot just near the Gaza border.
I witnessed the Israeli Defense Forces shooting at the crowds of Palestinians. I witnessed the Israeli Defense Forces firing a main gun tank round from the Merkava tank into a crowd of people, destroying a car of civilians that were simply driving away from the site. I witnessed mortar rounds being fired at the crowds of people to keep them controlled.
As a professional soldier with a very long career, what was your professional opinion of what was happening?
My professional opinion of how the sites were established was what I would describe as amateur. Inexperienced, untrained, no idea of how to conduct operations of this magnitude. That would be my most benign assessment. In my most frank assessment, I would say that they're criminal. In my entire career, have I never witnessed the level of brutality and use of indiscriminate and unnecessary force against a civilian population, an unarmed, starving population. I've never witnessed that in all of the places I've been deployed to war until I was in Gaza at the hands of the IDF and US contractors. Without question, I witnessed war crimes. I witnessed war crimes being by the Israeli Defense Forces, without a doubt, using artillery rounds, mortar rounds, firing tank rounds into unarmed civilians, is a war crime.
This was also done under Biden and Kamala too, where they said we need to get more aid in. We got to get the aid in, but not addressing the issue of Israel killing the people to get the aid. And matter of fact, the more that you think about it, it almost kind of seems like the West says, let's get the aid in so the people can get the aid so that more people can get killed. There are other ways that aid can be given to Palestinian people, but they know that Israel is controlling the way that the aid is distributed, and they know that they are killing those people on site when they show up to get the food. They are literally playing Squid Game right now in Gaza. It's not funny. It's not a fucking joke. They are literally playing Squid Game in real life, where people's lives are put on the line to get food.
Just absolutely horrendous to watch. A person who can't even eat or drink water because they're gone. They're literally gone, just waiting to die. And how many of these people they've encountered. And these doctors have been in and out of Rafah and Khan Yunis and places like that almost since the beginning of this Holocaust. And they still say they're seeing things they just can't believe. One doctor told me about a drone that hovered into the surgical ward, such as it was. Hard to call it a surgical ward, but they did have a stainless steel table and a white cloth across it, and they were working on a young baby. And the drone hovered over the table, looked at the baby, consulted some mosaic intelligence, Palantir planted into it probably, and then zapped the baby, killed the baby, and turned around and looked at the doctors like it was going to kill them too. And of course they were frightened. But that's what they're living with. This is horrendous what's happening.
This is one of the worst moments I've ever witnessed in my life, actually. And what makes it worse is that I'm Jewish. I'm, as you may know, political officer of Jewish Voice for Labour. And I'm sick and tired of being told the lie that to be Jewish is to be Zionist and to support Palestine is to be anti-Semitic. It's a lie. And there's all the Jewish people in America and in this country around the Jewish bloc, JVL, and all of the others are playing an important role. And to deny that is utterly unacceptable. I mean, the terror, let's be clear, is the state terror of Israel, supported by the state terror of the United States and the complicity of this wretched Labour government. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's all part of a whole. Yeah.
This is all happening right in front of our eyes. And it's something that has really, really destroyed my faith in humanity, that we can watch this, we can all see this, we can all be outraged by it, but our governments basically sit around with their fucking thumbs up their asses, and the governments are either outright supporting it, like the United States of America, or they're tepidly finger wagging, but not really doing anything about it, right? And what you're beginning to see now is people are beginning to wake up to the gravity of the situation, and they're beginning to wake up to how this is going to be viewed in the grand scheme of things through the eyes of history.
What is your current big issue?
Gaza. I feel it particularly because I'm Jewish, because I know how much wickedness and cruelty were meted out to Jews in my lifetime. I was born in 1941 at the height of the Holocaust. And I cannot bear to think that my people are doing exactly the same thing to another nation. And the nation that they're doing it to, the Palestinian nation, was not responsible for the Holocaust, had nothing to do with it. That was a purely European pleasure. And so my heart is broken. And I think the terrible thing I have to face is that Hitler won. He changed us. He made us like him.
Look at this boy. And when he got there, he thanked us for the remnants and the small crumbs that he got. And he sets them down on the ground, because I was kneeling at this point, and he sets his food down, and he places his hands on my face, on the side of my face, on my cheeks, these frail, skeleton, emaciated hands, dirty. And he puts them on my face, and he kissed me. He kissed me, and he said, "Thank you," in English. "Thank you." And he collected his items, and he walked back to the group. And then he was shot at with pepper spray and tear gas and stun grenades and bullets shot.
What I think I found particularly disturbing was that a bomb would drop maybe on a crowded, tented area, and then the drones would come down and...
Please take your time. We're incredibly grateful that you're making the time to be here today, and I can only imagine just how it has impacted you and will continue to impact you. And I feel, because you can't unsee what you've seen, but being able to share that with us really helps us hold legislators particularly to account. So we do appreciate the time that you're making for us today. Thank you.
So the drones would come down and pick off civilians, children, and we had description after description. This is not, an occasional thing. This was day after day after day, operating on children who would say, "I was lying on the ground after a bomb had dropped, and this quadcopter came down and hovered over me and shot me." And that's clearly a deliberate act, and it was a persistent act, persistent targeting of civilians day after day. The bullets that the drones fire are these small cuboid pellets, and I fished a number of those out of the abdomen of small children. I think the youngest I operated on was a 3-year-old who had a major injury to the artery in her neck, and we used the last shunt, which is a device you use to bypass the artery in the neck to keep supplying blood to the brain. We used the last one in the hospital because those kinds of things are just not available. She died about 3 or 4 days later from infection.
Israelis come here to look at the war, only a few miles away. It was hazy, so it was hard to see, and the steady sound of Israeli artillery was carried away on the wind. Since my last visit, vending machines have been installed if anyone needs refreshment.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What they're saying is you can go watch the genocide live from this hilltop, and there's vending machines if you want to get a snack while you're watching innocent people get bombed. Oh my God. Can we just say it? Can we just say that Israel is a Nazi state? Because that's what it is. And in fact, if you disagree with that at this point, I think you're fucking crazy. I'll be kind and say maybe you're completely ignorant and you've been living under a rock and you don't follow the news at all. But this is like Nazi state shit. That's what it is.
No, I'll tell you, Burger King. We did the double,
Whopper?
The double.
I haven't ripped Burger King in a long time. Burger King kind of sucks. Yeah.
No,
the BK Lounge can hit.
I disagree completely.
You like Burger King over McDonald's? That's your worst take, I think.
That's Bibi Netanyahu taking time out from his busy schedule to chat to podcasters about his favourite fast food. It's pretty obscene, given the number of Gazans now starving to death just the other side of that Israeli border.
And it's hard not to find it utterly jarring to hear the talk of your preference between a Big Mac and a Whopper. 1,000 people, according to the aid agencies, have now died while queuing to get food. Nothing more than the daily battle for survival.